Mark hurriedly walked through the dimly lit streets after bidding farewell to his friend's eerie apartment. The night enveloped him with an unsettling aura. Suddenly, an ominous shadow materialized behind him, elongating with every step he took. Panic surged within him as he quickened his pace. The shadow seemed to feed off his fear, growing darker and more menacing. It darted across walls, trees, and even people, always staying one step behind. Mark's heart raced, and sweat dripped down his brow. He dashed through alleyways and down deserted streets, but the shadow persisted. Exhausted and petrified, he reached his front door, praying for safety. As he stepped inside, the shadow retreated, vanishing into the night. Mark trembled, knowing that it would return. In a dimly lit room, two curious girls, Lily and Emily, huddled around an old Ouija board. Eager to explore the unknown, they placed their trembling fingers on the planchette. "Is anyone there?" they whispered, their voices barely audible. Suddenly the air grew icy cold, and the planchette jerked beneath their touch. It spelled out a name, Isabel. A shiver ran down their spines as they continued to communicate with the mysterious spirit, but something felt off. Isabel's responses became sinister, her words filled with malevolence. As the girls tried to end the session, the planchette violently flew across the room, crashing against the wall. The atmosphere thickened with an ominous presence. Shadows danced and whispers echoed in the darkness. The room transformed into a chilling nightmare. Terrified, Lily and Emily screamed, pleading for release from the spirit's grip, but their pleas fell on deaf ears. The room became a swirling vortex, consuming them whole, leaving behind nothing but an empty, haunted space. No one ever entered that room again, for they could still hear the agonizing cries of the two girls, forever trapped in the clutches of the Ouija board's malevolent power. Nightmare Ride. The terrifying Uber encounter in Mexico City. It was a typical evening for Luis, an Uber driver in Mexico City. He had been driving for several hours, taking passengers to their destinations without incident. Little did he know that this night would be different, an experience that would shake him to the core. Luis received a ride request from a nondescript location in a dimly lit neighborhood. He arrived promptly and noticed a man standing on the sidewalk, his face concealed by a hoodie. Sensing no immediate danger, Luis unlocked the car doors, and the stranger climbed into the back seat without saying a word. As they started the journey, a chilling silence filled the air. Luis glanced at the rearview mirror, catching a glimpse of the stranger's cold, intense eyes. The atmosphere grew increasingly tense, and Luis's instincts told him something was terribly wrong. Suddenly, the stranger's voice broke the silence, his tone low and threatening. "Give me all your money," he commanded, pointing a shotgun at the back of Luis's head. Panic gripped Luis's heart as he realized the perilous situation he was in. With trembling hands, he slowly reached for his wallet and handed over all the cash he had. Fear pulsed through Luis's veins, overpowering his thoughts. In that terrifying moment, he made a crucial decision: to comply with the stranger's demands and ensure his own safety. As the stranger took the money, a suffocating silence filled the car once again. Luis dropped off the stranger at the instructed destination, his mind racing with fear and confusion. He parked the car a few blocks away, trying to process the traumatic encounter he had just endured. The weight of the incident settled on him, and he knew he couldn't let his guard down. From that day forward, Luis decided to implement strict precautions for his own safety. He made a conscious choice not to pick up passengers in isolated or high-risk areas, especially during nighttime. He also resolved to avoid accepting ride requests from passengers without a clear profile picture or an incomplete verification process. The incident had opened Luis's eyes to the dark side of the city, a world where people disappeared without a trace. It served as a stark reminder of the dangers lurking beneath the surface, even within the familiar confines of his car. As time went on, Luis continued to drive for Uber, but he became more vigilant than ever. He encouraged his fellow drivers to be cautious, sharing his story as a cautionary tale. He also reached out to the local authorities, urging them to increase security measures and provide better protection for rideshare drivers. Luis's experience had forever changed him, serving as a constant reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of personal safety. His determination to navigate the streets of Mexico City with caution and resilience became a testament to his unwavering spirit in the face of adversity. Chased by shadows, a nighttime encounter in Bangladesh. In the bustling city of Bangladesh, under the moonlit sky, two young teenagers ventured out onto the dimly lit streets at night. The air was filled with a sense of adventure and curiosity as they explored the mysterious corners of their neighborhood. The narrow alleys were lined with small shops and houses, their colorful facades casting faint glimmers on the pavement. As they walked together, sharing laughter and whispered conversations, the teenagers suddenly caught sight of a peculiar figure in the distance. The figure stood tall, shrouded in darkness, and seemed out of place amidst the otherwise tranquil surroundings. Its eerie silhouette sent a shiver down their spines, setting their hearts racing. Instinctively, they quickened their pace, hoping to put some distance between themselves and the enigmatic figure. But as they hastened their steps, the figure, sensing their fear, began to give chase. The teenagers' hearts pounded in their chests as they sprinted through the labyrinthine streets, desperately searching for a safe haven. With a stroke of luck, one of the teenagers managed to outpace their pursuer and find temporary refuge in a nearby alley. Breathing heavily, they fumbled for their phone and dialed the emergency number for the police. Their voice trembled with fear as they relayed the terrifying encounter and pleaded for help. The minutes that followed felt like an eternity as the teenagers anxiously awaited the arrival of the police. Blue and red flashing lights eventually pierced the darkness, accompanied by the blaring sirens that signaled their rescuers' approach. The police officers, armed and vigilant, scoured the area meticulously, combing through every nook and cranny. However, to their dismay, the officers found no trace of the tall figure that had sent the teenagers running for their lives. Confusion and frustration filled the air as the police concluded their search, unable to provide any definitive answers. The teenagers were left to recount their harrowing experience, their voices trembling as they tried to make sense of the inexplicable chase. As they were escorted back home by the police, the teenagers couldn't help but glance over their shoulders, haunted by the memory of the mysterious figure. Their youthful innocence had been shattered, replaced by a lingering sense of unease, and the realization that their city held secrets that even the authorities couldn't uncover. Subscribe and click the notification bell to never miss out on new creepy and paranormal videos like this. Unveiling the unseen, embrace the shadows.